This is a heartbreaking scene that occurred on the street. The dog was thrown into a garbage bag and discarded by its cruel owner simply for eating a few extra bites of leftover food. At this moment, the dog had already lost consciousness in the cold wind, lying on the ground, motionless and barely alive. Upon witnessing this tragic sight, the young lady decided to rescue it immediately. However, the moment she pulled the dog out, her heart sank because the little creature's body was extremely cold, which filled her with a sense of despair. Fortunately, after a careful examination, the young lady discovered that the dog still had a faint breath. She quickly fetched a syringe and some water, hoping to wake it up by feeding it water. Unfortunately, the dog still showed no response. Thankfully, the young lady was a persistent person. She kept rubbing the little one's body, determined that she would not give up on saving the dog's life, even if there was just a glimmer of hope. If everyone hopes that the dog can be saved at this moment, please leave 3 little flowers to cheer it on. Fortunately, through the young lady's continuous efforts, pressing the dog's body again and again, the little guy's vacant gaze finally began to show some response, and slowly started to regain consciousness. Seeing that the little guy still had a chance, the young lady was overjoyed, and immediately picked up a syringe nearby to give the dog some water, then continued to place her hands on its abdomen, carefully performing CPR on him. Fortunately, the heavens do not disappoint those who are determined. After more than half an hour of effort, the dog finally started drinking water eagerly. However, seeing the dog still looking weak and haggard, the young lady couldn't help but shed tears. She simply couldn't understand why such a cute little puppy would be treated so cruelly by its owner. But thankfully, the dog encountered a kind young lady who provided it with its first full meal in its life. Seeing that the little guy was able to eat heartily, the young lady finally felt relieved. To help the dog further recover its health, after much thought, she decided to take the dog home, and no longer intended to return it to its former owner. So, the young lady bought a pet backpack from a nearby store, preparing to take the little guy home. Once at home, worried that the dog might not be full, the young lady specifically went out to buy dog food. To ensure the little guy can replenish sufficient nutrition, after the dog has eaten and drunk enough, the young lady kindly gave the little guy a hot bath. The dog, having its first bath, not only did not show fear, but was also very cooperative throughout the process, appearing quite spirited. Perhaps in the dog's heart, it has already understood that this kind person in front of it would not harm it. After the dog finished its bath, the young lady used a warm towel to dry its body, even though at that moment, the dog could not express its inner thoughts. But I believe he has chosen to trust the other party unconditionally. In the end, I hope the dog can grow up healthy with the young lady's companionship, and I also wish the kind and loving young lady a lifetime of peace and safety.